So we now move into our second section of the pod that we like to call Getting Athletic. For this segment of the episode, we thought that we would continue a little bit with what we were talking about last week with the NBA, which started, Tev sporting his Philadelphia, his Phillies, his 76ers jersey over there. It started it started last week, 19th of October, were the first set of games. Like I mentioned in the previous pod, there was the Celtics and the Sixers, which was my highlight game on the East, and then the Lakers and the Warriors was my highlight game on the West. I will say that the Lakers are looking pretty trash this season. It's really not looking good for them. I don't really know what to say. I can't really explain it, but the NBA is a very, very long season. Just a quick roundup of some of the, I'm not going to give specific results, but if you look on the Eastern side, some teams have played 3, some have played 2 games. The Celtics have won their first 3, so that's a great start, but no one's really surprised. I think the only real shock is that their head coach was let go just before the season started, and they have an interim. He had a thing with one of his...
consensual relationship with one of the staff.
Yeah, I think he might have had an affair on his wife, though. So I think that was like the whole big thing. They have like an interim coach who's there right now. But yeah, so they won their first game against the 76ers, which is not an easy game to win because, the Sixers Harden is starting to settle in. Joel Embiid has been really, really good. So I would say on the Eastern side, the teams really to watch out for, obviously Celtics, the Bucks always look good. Nets are looking okay. They're struggling to gel. Maybe when Ben Simmons finds his feet. The 76ers lost their first 3 matches, but I don't think I would count them out. Same thing, Heat looks pretty good, even though they lost 2 and 1-1. Thing with the NBA, though, is I must just say it's a very, very long season. So it's very difficult to be like, oh, they lost 3 or they lost 2. So those would be my Eastern side. On the West, the Jazz started well. They're also a good side. The Clippers started well. Warriors, obviously, they won 1, lost 1, but they're just a good team. Mavericks are good. I think this is a unique, I was talking to my friend, it's a very unique season in that it looks very spread out. Like there's a wide variety of talent all over, and it's all about who can stay healthy. I think if the Nuggets can stay healthy, they will do exceptionally well this season with those guys. But I actually wanted to I was thinking a little bit just in general about the NBA, and I just wanted to say, kind of just comment on something. So the NBA is unique in that they have the draft system, right? Where the college kids, you get drafted
picked.
in, and now, and to get your draft picks, you can either trade. So you can trade, like, let's say they trade Tevin for Tyler plus 3 first draft round picks, right? So that's one way you can get it. Or the lower you are in the league, the higher your draft pick will be, or there's better odds of you getting a number 1 draft pick. And there is a new kid on the block who they are calling generational. He's that long guy, Webanyama. I don't know his name, but he looks. I've seen reels of him on Instagram. He looks the part. So now there's this quite a problem that where the teams that are not looking so good, what they're noticing is that these guys seem to be throwing games subtly, but throwing them nonetheless. Putting on their like real second and third string players to come and play during those games. So they actually spoke to the chairman of the NBA. I think his name is Adam Silver, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Adam Silver. He said that it's a bit of a problem and he doesn't really know how to solve it because they spoke about doing like a relegation promotion system like in the Premier League. But they say teams from the G League will not cope in the NBA, and it kind of messes with the whole business model that they've got going on. So yeah, I just wanted to give that little quick roundup, just like of what happened in the last week. It is a fast-paced, difficult to keep up with sport, I'm not going to lie. But I thought it would be cool to start the Getting Athletic section just to kind of bridge over what we spoke. Oh, did you see the rings? I just wanted to ask you, did you see their rings that they got?
I did see the ceremony. Oh, it looks
Rings look
what's
dope,
the
eh?
jackets? If that's available, I'd like to put in an order for that.
Yeah.
Those rings were very nice, man. Very
And
nice.
it's
Those
crazy.
ceremonies,
So
classy.
Steph Curry has now won 4, right? You know, he's won 4 rings.
Mm-hmm.
There's such fine little details. You must go check it. You can see it on his ring. It twists and it opens up, and as it opens up, there's 4 little trophies inside his ring.
Oof, that's intricate,
So
man.
cool.
That is nice. That is.
I was like,
that
yo,
is sick.
fire. But yeah,
Yeah,
anyway, yeah.
I'm sure people would prefer that over a medal. I mean, Premier League, where tons of money is available, you expect something a bit. Maybe they aren't as flashy lifestyle-wise, so maybe that's
Yeah.
but a bit
Maybe,
more that
yeah.
baller
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of presence that you generally associate. Flashy cars, live the
Yeah.
lifestyle, the
Yeah.
high life, essentially.
Yeah,
But
for
very
sure.
interesting that you mentioned the topic about throwing games. I mean, it
Yeah,
does create a very slippery slope in what is fair regarding the bolstering of your team, and
yeah,
also with it being a team sport, does one individual on a general basis make a big difference to the team? So say the Nuggets are last this season and they get the
Yeah.
first draft pick and it's this guy. Have
Yeah.
we seen a trend where the first draft pick has a very notable impact on a team that's fighting relegation, as an example?
not since I would say LeBron. Like, he was one of the only people that came in as a rookie and really changed the team. Last season, Cade Cunningham was the number 1 pick, and he was good, but it's very seldom that rookie that comes in is that influential. But I think what you essentially get is you get a talented player who, you know, the way the contracts work, I think you get them for 3 years or something like that. And essentially what you could be getting is, if someone is exceptionally generational, you may not get that next season you'll compete, but in 3 or 4 years' time, if they are that good, then you essentially have a big asset for if you want to trade in 3 or 4 years. Then maybe you can trade this number 1 superstar for 3 players that your roster, because basketball is very much about a roster. It's like building the right. It's not 1 or 2 players that make it. You really need it's really cool because it's like really superstar individualistic in some ways, but in other ways it's very much roster based and making sure that your team is balanced. So if you get this crazy rookie now and he turns into something insane like LeBron did, then maybe in 3 years down the line, you're sitting with this asset that could get you 4 players, which can add to your roster. And I think that's what it's about. It's not about next season. It's about, okay, well, what does
But
he...
like the long. Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I actually
Yeah, for
really
sure.
dig that. Cool. So
Yeah.
again, Tyler, with all the facts, with all the insight into basketball. So myself, that's not a regular viewer. This is such great information to share, like Barry, chat with your mates at the weekend brides, etc. at the office. We now have a lot more to engage with, to talk about, and we're looking forward to hearing a bit more about basketball. So maybe by the end of the season, we'd understand the running of the game, how it works. We have now a bit more insight into how drafts work, and I think as we go along, we'll get a lot more insight into the game as a whole.
For sure.
Really looking forward to that. I think the second topic that we wanted to touch on under Getting Athletic was the World Cup. So just a reminder that the Men's World Cup is taking place in just under a month. Can't
Just
believe it's
under a
already
month,
here.
yeah.
Just
It's
under
crazy.
a month. It's going to be, like we've mentioned before, a very interesting World Cup. It's the final World Cup for a lot of the star players, the GOATs of the game, Ronaldo,
Especially
Messi,
in our
Neymar.
generation.
Yeah, exactly. So one to keep our eyes peeled for. We'll do an episode that's a bit more in depth. We talk through the groups, our predictions, the squads. Once we have a squad announcement, we'll commit an entire episode to breaking that down for you guys to understand.
For sure.
Who the favorites, who could be the dark horses, what are the predictions around it. And in keeping with World Cup, we have recently gotten the final group draw for the Women's World Cup, which will be taking
Yeah.
place next year in Australia and New Zealand. So a quick run through here. For Group A, we have the host New Zealand, Norway, Philippines, and Switzerland. Group B, we have the co-hosts Australia, the Republic of Ireland, Nigeria, and Canada.
Yep.
Group C, there's Spain, Costa Rica, Zambia, Japan. Group D, we have the Euro winners, England. And then we're still awaiting the playoff winner for Group B, Denmark and China. Group E, we have USA, Vietnam, Netherlands, and the Group A playoff winner. So that's a very good matchup.
Tough group.
In prospect there, the USA versus the Netherlands. Both seem to be quite star-studded. Group F, we have France, Jamaica, Brazil, and Group C playoff winner. Group G, we have Sweden, we have South Africa.
Banyana.
AFCON holders.
AFCON winners, baby.
Italy and Argentina. And we
Very
see
tough group as well,
H being rounded off by Germany, Morocco, Colombia, and the Congo Republic. I actually have a good feeling about South Africa, man. I don't generally say that when we're in any kind of continental competition, but Banyana are a class above Bafana, and Desiree has those girls playing, so really looking forward to see how that plays out. It's going to be a very exciting time, and I think we've seen the development and evolution in women's football. Getting their flowers, man. They honestly getting the game time and the recognition that they deserve. We saw the Euros here that happened in the UK. It was blockbuster. People bumps in seats in the stadiums. People were tuning in, and it was exciting. There were tons of goals. There was a lot of action. There was great moments.
The quality's just gotten experience. Quality's gotten a lot better. The investment from outside, just in terms of boosting the sports has been amazing. So I think it's really something to look forward to. I don't know much about women's football, but it is something that I like the fact that it's getting bigger, because it's always sick to watch. I always enjoy watching those games. Yeah,
man. I'm honestly looking forward to that. It's going to be really, really cool. In the world of cricket, we see that the T20 World Cup is underway. It kicked off with a blockbuster match where it was New Zealand versus Australia, and we saw the Kiwis beat the Australians by a whopping 89 runs. Currently on the go, we see that India had lost to Pakistan, and a few more results that we've seen in the T20 World Cup.
South Africa hasn't played yet as we're recording now. I think they're playing Zimbabwe in their first game.
We hope that the throats aren't too dry there in this tournament. There will be no choking happening here, but let's put our faith in the Proteas. Let's see what happens. Maybe they can prove us wrong this time. But a quick roundup of results. We had Sri Lanka losing to Namibia. We had the Netherlands beating UAE. I would have expected Sri Lanka to have taken that quite easily. Scotland beat the West Indies by 42 runs. Also, big one for them. Surprise there. Zim beat Ireland, 31 runs. Those were some of the earlier results in the tournament. So very interesting to see how this plays out. We see that SA play Zimbabwe in their match that's going to be taking place on the 24th. Where is
this World Cup, do you know?
This World Cup is taking place, let me get my facts straight.
Australia.
There we go.
Okay.
So
we keep an eye on
surely SA have to put in a good shift, man. Against the Aussies. We know
we have to hope so.
The relationship is when it comes to sport against Australians. Fingers crossed the Proteas can finally silence a nation and do not choke when it comes to the knockout rounds. Proteas, we'll be praying for you guys, man. And then finally, in the world of sport, it's unbelievably already been 10 years since the Redbull Stratosphere freefall that we saw Felix Baumgartner do. I can't believe it was 10 years ago. Quite a an amazing feat. The man went up into the stratosphere. You see the video all over YouTube.
It's all over.
He
Yeah,
dropped in and broke the sound barrier before landing, touching down on Earth. And I actually I wanted to kind of chat about where we see sport continue to push the boundaries. So be it the evolution of sports, bring the creation of new sports. I've recently seen that there is, I think it's called paddle, where you're essentially on a tennis court, but it's got set up like squash. You're using an actual paddle and a ball, and you're playing tennis, but you can use the environment around you. So the walls can be played off.
Yeah.
And I was very fascinated to see any other kind of hybrid sports or the new creation of sports and where we see this going. Are there any avenues that you see sport moving into, or things that you'd like to see in the world of sport?
So I think what's happening is that this kind of idea of traditional sports is really starting to change. You and I, we touched on this when we spoke about the new cricket format in South Africa, and how sports really is evolving, and I do think there's a need for it. I think quite a cool story that will relate to this is, I don't know if you saw that Dana White has now signed, have you seen that slap contest that they do?
Guys basically stand across each other and
so they stand across each other and it's like about slapping, and you see some pretty funny videos come out of that. But now Dana White has officially turned it into a real sport. He's as the UFC. I think it will be, I don't know if it's going to be directly related to the UFC, but he's essentially bringing that into his realm. And I think what he's doing is, and I mean, there's a lot of criticism that is thrown at Dana White, but one must understand he is a businessman, and I think he's quite knowledgeable about how to run a business. And I think what he's doing with this kind of thing and with the UFC in general is he's adding that sensationalist concept, or that sensationalism that I think this generation kind of needs to have sports. Like we spoke about with cricket, I think a lot of the younger generation struggles to commit that much time to a cricket match. So there needs to be a lot more excitement. I know that the MLS, the football in America, also has a lot more lights and flashy actions and stuff like that. So I kind of see, for me, that's the way sport seems to be moving, in that it seems to, I'm not going to call it sensationalism because I think that's quite negative, but I think that there's a growing attention to create it a lot more kind of eye-catching and grabbing and kind of holding. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do think that we're now seeing a lot more entertainment value being brought into sports. So as much as you have the traditional game being played, there's pyrotechnics now when people score goals in the MLS. There's a lot more fanfare, if I can put it as that. So there's very interesting initiatives being undergone or taking place currently. And I think, I don't know how true it was, I heard that Hasbullah has also signed for the UFC.
Yeah, he signed for Dana White.
If that is true, then that's really great to be inclusive in the sport. I mean, you'd never traditionally see someone of his nature in a ring or an environment like that.
I don't think he's fighting though. I think he's an ambassador. I don't think he's fighting. I think he's just an ambassador. But yeah, I get what you say.
So Dana White, there you go. I've just given you a great proposition to also include
the entire spectrum.
Allow everybody the opportunity to fight. You know, if they have the passion for it, if they have the skills for it, give them the platform to do so. It's really interesting, man. So the paddle was one interesting aspect that I've seen sport kind of being pushed or molded and changed. I'm still getting to grips with Australian rules football.
Yeah, I don't get it. So it's difficult.
From the outside, it looks like a combination of rugby and football merged together, where you can either kick it over the rugby goalpost, or I can score in a goal where there is a goalkeeper. I can pick it up with my hands. I can throw.
You bounce it as well, like
so. There's a lot going on. Yeah, there's just so much going on. It kind of looked like Quidditch at one stage. So very, very interesting things out there. And as a very bold and tongue-in-cheek comment, I'd say that I would love to have seen a Olympics where there aren't banned substances. So allow Usain Bolt to dope, allow Phelps to dope, and we see how far we can push the human body. I want to see that 869 or whatever he ran turn into a 6.34. I want to see, machines essentially performing at what would be like peak physical application.
Yeah,
that would be a very cool.
I think the biggest challenge that they have, I think with that, the biggest struggle that they would have will probably be, I don't want to say human rights protections, but I think that's where people are going to come in and be like, oh, but like this is endangering human lives to do this kind of thing. You could turn around and argue and be like, yeah, but it's their choice and whatever. But let's remove all of that kind of complicated stuff. I think it would be mad to see that kind of thing. It would be so cool to see that kind of. I mean, I'm not putting myself through it. I'm just watching. But I think it's so cool.
We're talking about entertainment value right here, so I think that would definitely be up there. So let us know, guys, if there are some interesting sports that you've come across. I see spikeball as an example, as it isn't
it's a cool game.
Full-on sport, but yeah, I've seen it being picked up quite a lot and very, very interesting. So much fun, firstly, and then a lot of cardio involved, man. The techniques there, I'm seeing guys who are moving like ninjas in there.
It's a cool game.
If you haven't heard about it, go in, you check out spikeball. Very cool, very cool. Yeah. So let us know if there's some sports that you guys have come across. Things that you'd like to see, man. If you also like to see the steroid Olympics, you can see weightlifting guys are on roids, guys are literally lifting buses here. I don't know.
Crazy, yeah.
Let us know, TikTok, Instagram, if this is where you're going to be leaving us for this podcast. Just remember to like, subscribe. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. So don't forget to like, engage, and just let us know exactly what
you're doing. You know the vibe.
regarding
You know the vibe.